Hello students. In the previous class we have seen about memory hierarchy. Today's class will discuss about main memory. So as you all know, main memory is an important component of a computer system. So main memory is nothing but the RAM, which is a random access memory. So as you know, the very important feature of a RAM is uh, it is a volatile memory. So we'll not go into detail and discuss what is volatile, as we are all familiar with it. So RAM is it is a central storage unit in a computer system. So it is relatively fast and a large memory in the computer during which stores the programs and the data when a computer during a computer operation. So the principal technology used in the RAM is the semiconductor integrated circuits. So the RAM is something which is all about in semiconductor integrated circuits. So depending upon this principal technology, we can categorize the RAM into two types. The first one is the static RAM and the second is the dynamic RAM. Each of them have their own features. So first let us see about the static RAM. So static RAM is something which is made up of the flip-flops. So I will not go in detail and talk about what is a flip-flop and all, because you already know about a flip-flop in very much detail. So the point here is the binary information is stored into this flip-flops. And the next another feature of this static RAM is it is very easy to work with, and it has shorter read and write cycles. That is, when you are trying to work with this static RAM, the amount of time taken to read and write a particular data to this RAM is very less when compared to the dynamic RAM. Now let us move to the next type of RAM, which is dynamic RAM. So it is something which stores the binary information in terms of electric charges, and these electric charges are something which are applied to the capacitors. So I can say that this type of RAM is something which is made up of capacitors. Okay, and this binary information is applied to these capacitors in terms of electric charges. So when we talk about electric charges, there are chances that the power which is applied to the capacitors in the duration of the time, it tends to lose its power, or I can say the power tends to discharge with the time. And in such a case, we need to refresh this RAM periodically in order to keep or maintain its charge. So that is what is the manufacturing part of the dynamic RAM. And the dynamic RAM offers reduced power consumption when compared to the static RAM, and it has large storage capacity in a single memory chip. So this is how you can contrast and compare the both static and dynamic RAMs. So in this category of the memory, we can also talk about another type of memory which is called ROM. So ROM is nothing but read-only memory. The feature of ROM is it is a non-volatile memory, and you all know what is non-volatile. So ROM is something which is used to store bulk of programs and data that are permanently resident in the computer, and the value of the tables do not change after the production of the computer. So what do I mean by this statement is, ROM is something which stores the data it stores bulk of programs, and the values or the contents of the ROM will not change once it is being produced or once it is being released into the market. So the programs whatever ROM has is something which are fixed programs. So this last part what I meant is the value of the tables do not change, whereas when you talk about RAM, the value of the tables tend to change depending upon the user's usage. But whereas ROM, how much ever you're going to use, whatever you're going to do, the programs whatever are being saved are something which cannot be changed. So one of the best example what we can take here is a bootstrap loader. So what is a bootstrap loader program? This program is something which is used to function the sorry is you is to start the computer software operating when the power is turned on. So it is nothing but as soon as you switch on your computer system, you identify that all the components whatever are connected to the computer system keeps, all the LEDs keep blinking. It keeps on identifying each and every part, and it will load the operating system onto the RAM. So to do this entire work, there is one program which is required. So that program is what is called as a bootstrap loader. The set of and this program counter is always set to the initial address of the bootstrap loader. So as I'm saying, bootstrap loader is one of the is a program. So when you switch on your computer system, the first address the program counter will hold will be the initial address of this bootstrap loader, so that as soon as you switch on the computer, the program counter loads it, and accordingly you know the process. From program counter we will move to MAR, MDR, and then your instruction register, and then to the ALU. So that is how the flow of the instruction goes, and slowly the computer turns on, and then it will load your part of the operating system into the RAM, and now your system will be ready to work for any application softwares. RAM and ROM chips are available in different sizes and shapes. So this you already know. We don't have to talk about that. So it depends upon the user's choice how much memory capacity he requires. He can use it. So for the demonstration purpose or for understanding the RAM and ROM chips, the configurations what we are taking here is 128 by 8 RAM and 512 by 8 ROM chips. So these two chips we will go into detail and see. So this is the RAM chip block diagram. So this RAM here is something which is of configuration 128 by 8. So what does this mean? It means this RAM holds 128 words, and each word has 8 bits in it. So obviously so the output of this RAM chip will also be 8-bit data. So the data it is having a bidirectional bus connected to this RAM, which is of 8-bit data bus. So either the data can go in or out, read or write. It is a bidirectional bus which is of 8-bit data bus. So this RAM is something which has some switches here. So the first one is called chip select 1, the second chip select 2, third one is read chip, read switch, and then write switch, and then 7-bit address. So these are the different switches which are being applied to this RAM. So this is the block diagram. Now let us go to the function table and see how does this RAM works. Now if you look at it, if you want this RAM chip to be enabled, so the values what you have to produce to this RAM is at chip select 1 you need to produce 1, and chip select 2 you need to produce 0. So that is when this RAM chip will actually get switched on, and then you can work with it. Any other values applied apart from 1 and 0, this RAM will not work. So any other values, there are only 3 other values, either it is 0 0 or 0 1 or 1 1. All the 3 values whatever you are going to apply to this RAM will not work. It will only work when your CS1, that is chip select 1, will be 1 and chip select 2 is 0, to just make sure that this RAM chip is enabled. And once you apply these values, you will apply this 7-bit address. So the address what this RAM uses is a 7-bit address. So this address is something which is produced here. So once you know what is the address, you can do your work. So this RAM chip has two operations to do. Either it is read operation or write operation. So respectively you can switch on any of the switch and you can work with the RAM. So 1, 0, depending upon any of the operation, you apply the address. So the output what you are going to get from this will be an 8-bit data bus. So through this the data is something which will be given out of the RAM. So if you look at this function table, as we have different columns here. So as you can see, it is CS1, CS2, and what are the different possibilities what you can apply, and your read write pins also, and what is the memory function depending upon what all values you are applying here, and what is the state of the data bus. So if you look at the first part, as it is, if you are applying 0, 0, it is going into an high impedance state. So we are all familiar with what is high impedance. So that is what it is. And the memory function is something which is inhibited. That is, it is not been doing any work. So the same way, it is 0, 0, 0, 1 also it is not working. So the next possibility is you are applying 1, 0, but still it is in high impedance state, because neither of the operation is been enabled here. So here if you see 1, 0, now correctly it is applied, and one of the operation is been enabled, that is write operation. So when you have this write operation, the memory function is something which is write, and you input data to the RAM. And when you are applying read operation, then output data from RAM. So this is what we are applying, and if you are keeping these two values as 1, 1, it is again going into the high impedance state. Okay, so this is all about the RAM chip and how it works. So respectively, depending upon what all operation the processor is planning to do, it will enable these pins, and we are going to make this RAM work, and you're going to get some data out of this RAM to the processor. Now if you look at the ROM chip, so this is what is the ROM chip is. So it is more or less same as your RAM chip, but the only one difference what we have is we don't have a read or write operation here, because the ROM is something which is read only memory and it can only read the data. So that's why we don't have either read or write, because when you apply the address, when you're giving an address and you are enabling the ROM chip, some data is something, the data is something which has been read outside. Okay, so this is your ROM chip. Okay, so if you look at the configuration part, we are giving more number of bits are being included into the same type of RAM, I mean same type of chip as it is of RAM. Okay, why? Because for the same size chip, it is possible to have more bits for ROM than of RAM, because the internal binary cells in ROM occupies less space than in RAM. Okay, for this reason the diagram specifies a 512 byte ROM, while RAM has only 128 bytes. So this is all about your main memory, mostly about the RAM and ROM chips. Thank you.